dear friends, this is Harvest of Light by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. This book comes to life in 1972 in Brazil and is published by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation in 1979. Yes, this is the book in Portuguese, the original version, Ceifa de Luz, in Portuguese, and then in English, Harvest of Light. Why does this book come to us? It comes to coach us to new feelings, to new understanding. The work of the good is so good that we cannot take it for granted. And today, the chapter 21 is titled, The Best for Us. Wow! How often do we go to the doctors, to psychotherapists, to any kind of therapy, and we beg that people tell us what is best for us? Well, it's a common practice. Since ancient times, people visited oracles, talked to the shamans, and we always ask, what is the best for us? We want somebody to tell us what is best, what's the best for us, right? Who is not in search of this answer? What's the best for us? And then in terms of food, we have so many experts. Some say low carbs, others say more carbs. Some people say vegan, others say no, vegetarian is okay. So this is about the physical part of it. Imagine the spiritual. Is there one straightforward answer to it? Yes, there is. Life is simple. We're the ones who complicate it. We don't want to complicate life, do we? No, we don't. We want to learn how to simplify it. Simplicity is a message that pertains to the Christ conscious set. If you go to the Gospel According to Spiritism by Allan Kardec, we're going to learn that simplicity is a virtue that was taught and exemplified by Jesus Christ. We need to become simpler. Sometimes we are stressed out because we complicate. Sometimes we're sad because our expectations are so complex. No, I'll be happy if A, B, C, D, Z things happen. Very complicated. So what is the answer to what is best for us? Are you ready? Yes, I guess you are, because I see friends coming in. Welcome, welcome, dear souls. Now you're here, let us grow. Let us love, let us serve. Let us help everyone. Welcome, welcome, dear soul. And I'm here to love you so. Right? The Best for Us, Chapter 21, from the book Harvest of Light, by the Spirit author Emmanuel, through the medium Chico Xavier. He quotes from Matthew 6:14. For if you forgive others' trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Jesus. It is very and always important for us to forget all those who take this or that unpleasant attitude towards us. No one is capable enough to evaluate the difficulties of others. The one who in our view have hurt us would have been struggling a hurried obstacle when he gave us such impression. And in overcoming such an obstacle, he will have let some of his own constraints fall upon us, becoming much more of a lender of support than of a debtor of attention. In many episodes of life, those who harm us or hurt us are often caught up in the affliction that they suffer, much more because they create problems for us than we do when we assume them to be victims. Who could enumerate the occasions when a certain companion would have stopped his own fall under the compulsive force of temptation until he slipped on the road? Who will have the means to recognize if the persecutor is really lucid or troubled, obsessed or sick? Who can untie the truth from the lie in the crisis of disturbance or disorder, when the cloud of crime collapses upon the community? What person will have to be so much sagacious to know the exact point in which the dark thread of guilt has been originated? In view of this, let us understand that forgetting the evils that beset us is a defense of our own balance, and that on days when injury strikes on the face, forgiveness, much more than a blessing to our supposed offenders, is and will always be the best for us. Did we get the answer? What's the best for us? He talks about forgive and forget. Forget and forgive. And you may be asking, is it possible at all to forget? Well, in a recent study by neuroscientists studying post-traumatic stress disorder in the military, men and women in the United States of America, we've come to know that it is possible to forget and to even displace a traumatic memory. And you may be asking, what's the trick? Well, God is so good. According to what they say, we have this inner ability, to displace those memories by creating new ones. So the only way is not to remember. And that's what we do the most. We keep repeating the story, 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 repeating the story. And of course we can't forget. But if we make an effort to leave it alone and to put it aside and create new memories, some people, they're brokenhearted. And it's not easy. But what can you do? Create new memories. Yes? Don't stay there lamenting. Yes, no lamentation. Complaining. We won't forget. What can we do? Begin anew. Start anew. Change your routine. Change our routine. So when life is giving us, opportunities that are not good, if we want, and I'm not saying life is presenting as if we are victims, no. We are attracting those scenarios. If we want to change it, we create new. I'll give you a true example. In the book 50 Years Later by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, Celia is a teenager who was expelled from her house. She had done nothing. She was just defending her mother. She left in those streets of crazy life with a baby in her arms. She didn't stop to cry and lament. She kept on working for the new life. And from moment to moment, scenario to scenario, she made the best of herself. She didn't tell anybody about what happened to her. She didn't. And that was one of the ways she succeeded. If you read the book, you will see what Celia, in 50 years ago by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, teaches us. It's like moving on and leaving it, the bad, away, behind it, behind us. If we keep like, oh, but people don't understand me. Oh, but people do this to me. Oh, you're going to become unbearable, and people are not going to listen to us anymore. We won't be given new opportunities. So what do? Take a new course. Go to Michael's. If you live in the United States, there is this art store, Michael's. Take a course. Take a music class. Take a painting class. You know, we think these learning experiences are only for little kids, but who are we? We're evolving spirits. The only difference is that the body changed. But the difference between children and us, it's pretty much that phase in life in which you're super dependent. But why did we stop learning? In learning at multidimensional levels. Dimensions that pertain to the body and the mind, the spiritual body. So we need to be open to the new. And that's a good time. When we're feeling sad and depressed, go find a new volunteering opportunity. Some people say, oh, but I give so much. I give so much. Well, if that giving much is not replenishing us, we need to revisit if we are really giving. Because it's possible. We think we're giving, but our blind spot does not allow us to see clearly. So we need to revisit. If what we're giving is not replenishing us, the question is, are we really giving? What are we giving? We always have a hidden agenda. We need to, I'm not going to say always, usually due to our fears, we tend to have hidden agendas to protect ourselves. But that's not good, because it's deceiving even for ourselves. So trying to find in our days opportunities to renew ourselves. In the book, In the Realms of Mediumship, tonight at the Spiritual Side of Virginia, we were studying a paragraph or two of the preface of Emmanuel in that book. And it says that if we really want to evolve, we need to focus on our notion of responsibility, to devote ourselves to the service of the good, and to love studying. Do we love studying? Because not only teachers are, children are supposed to study. Hello, friends. Hello, hello. So, it's an opportunity for us to revisit. Emmanuel begins this by talking about forgiveness. Jesus taught us forgiveness. Did you know that before Jesus came to the earth, forgiveness was an unknown proposal in human relationships? It's been only 2,000 years that we're becoming acquainted with the proposal of forgiveness. Right, Adilson. We do love studying. Yay! Exactly. So forgiveness is new. It's been only 2 millennia that Jesus brought this notion, clear notion, that forgiveness is a principle of life. Because we also need forgiveness. He says, and believe it or not, Emmanuel ties up forgiveness and forgetfulness. There was a time I used to ask myself, it's impossible to forget. But even science nowadays teaches us that it's possible to forget. If I create new experiences, new memories. Huh? Thank you, Lívia Moraes. Thank you. So he begins by saying about forgetfulness. He says, it's very important, and it's always important for us to forget those who take this or that unpleasant attitude towards us. And he explains why. Because no one is capable enough to evaluate the difficulties of others. I know it is hard. So we're going to share here. If you see somebody with a six-pack, right? Their abdominal so fit, you're like, it's impossible for me. No, no, no. If you do what they do, it is possible. We just need to follow through. What about us? Are we ready to take this class on forgetfulness? Forgiveness? Not here, in the spiritual realm. Let us ask the good spirits to take us to the spiritual realm. And please teach us more about forgetting those who trespassed against us. Please help us. Please help us. Forgive. Learn to forgive. To be understanding. And that's why he says we cannot evaluate the difficulties of others. Often there's so much misconception. You may see somebody sleeping in front of you and you think, they don't want to listen to me. They don't want to listen to me. Then you ask, what happened to you? Well, last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you didn't want to listen to me. No, I do. But my body is so extenuated. You see, we cannot measure. That's what Emmanuel is saying. Oftentimes, we cannot measure fairly the difficulties of others. And then he spends 4 more paragraphs telling us about those who hurt us. Who hurt us. He says that they have been struggling. And often they struggle because they bring upon us difficulties as well. Unless they are very narcissistic. And then they don't see the damage because they are blind. It's the disease of this millennia, narcissism. And we are debunking narcissism in our planet. On our planet, there's no longer room for narcissistic personalities. We're seeing day in, day out that narcissistic people no longer will have room in this planet, on this planet. So he says, in many circumstances in life, those who harm us or hurt us, they suffer because they know they hurt us. And that's the case of people who are not narcissistic. Like how often I say stuff that I didn't want to say. And then, oh gosh, wait, I go home like, oh, yeah. You remember the movie? It's an old movie, but a good one, huh? It's like a chick flick, but it's a good one. It's named You've Got Mail. And I love that movie because there is a moment in which I think it's Meg Ryan. The character she's playing, she learns to snap at the guy and she goes home like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? Oh man, I feel terrible, right? Souls are saying to forgive is okay, but to forget those who hurt us, it's not so easy. No, don't say Vanessa, Soul, say Emmanuel. I need to learn to forget. Me too, so I agree with you. It's not easy. But you know, friends, if we need to undergo therapy and talk about it, we should talk about it. But not for 10,000 years, huh? Because sometimes people spend 20 years talking about the same event, time and again, and nothing is changed. And that's a problem. A problem of the therapist and of the line he's using. Because we're supposed to empower people to overcome their limitations and to feel less of a victim, but somebody who is really moving on and progressing, right? So meanwhile, what we can do is ask the good spirits to take us to the spiritual realm and take the course on forgetting in the spiritual realm, okay? Let's see if somebody has any memory of it in the next 24 hours. Let us ask them, because he says this is the best for us. And why does he say it's best for us? Imagine if you have a bucket. Any offense you take, you fill the bucket. It's becoming heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Next day, you don't wake up because it's too heavy. So we need to create a recycling system that goes instant. Instant. How? Somebody did something and I have a choice. Right away, give a new meaning to it. No, that person didn't want to hurt me. That's the way they are. That's the way they are. They're just like that. They can't give anything better for now. That's the way they are. It's not about us. It's about them. I don't take offense. I don't put it in a bucket. It's lighter. I don't even accumulate. I think when he's talking about forgetting, he's just saying, do not take offense. But, Vanessa, some people want to offend us. But if you don't take it, they didn't offend you. We have an inner mechanism that when we go home, we feel it. And if they don't feel it now, they will one day. Teresa Castro is saying, I think more like reframe or refeel the situation a different way. True forgetfulness seems unobtainable. Well, Teresa, I like what you said and I agree. But remember, science recently said that if we create new memories, we can displace those memories. Think about a spirit who reached the level of Jesus Christ. He lived many lives. He learned how to recycle memories that were not positive. It is possible. The superior spirits already know. When we go to the book, The Messengers by Andrea Lewis, we learn how remembering things triggering us the same physiological response. we become unhealthy. So trying not to remember, not to replay it in our minds. Don't push the play button again. Not of that movie, huh? We don't want it. Not that movie. Bless the past. Remember Sister Shayla's message I mentioned to you before. She says, bless always. Bless. That past is blessed. Let us close our eyes and do this exercise, okay? Feel your own pulsation, vibration. Breathe in and out. And bless that past. That ancient past. Bless. Because that experience led to today's lessons. I bless my past and I trust in God. I bless my past and I trust in God. I bless my past and I trust in God. I let go of the old. I let in the new. I'm giving you these affirmations, I'm giving you these exercises because Mentor Joseph says we need to feel the scriptures as Jesus says to us. It's not only about the knowledge, but it's about opening our hearts. Right, Paula? Open your hearts to the new. Find the new. Seek the new. It is happening as we speak. If people want to be stuck in that personality of the past, bless them and go. Say, bless you and shh, move forward. Don't anchor yourself in people's choices. Jesus is our guide and model, and he taught us so. You've never heard of Jesus was stuck because of the people. No, he was not stuck. When we read the book Good News by Humberto de Campos and the other accounts that he portrays in other books, we learned that Jesus was compassionate, but he didn't allow himself to be anchored. If people make those choices, bless you and I go. I bless you and I go. Thank you so for summing up here. For everyone, I bless my past and I trust in God. I let go of the old and I let in the new. I let go of the old, I let in the new. I let go of the old, I let in the new. And he says here that in regards to understanding, remember all these chapters he talks about understanding. It's key, because understanding, we're seeking the good. Always. In view of this, let us understand that forgetting the evils that beset us is a defense of our own balance. Jesus took offense? No. Did he take offense? No. He said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. He understood. And really, we didn't know. Like nowadays, people don't know. We often don't recognize the missionaries until they're almost dead. And then we're like, I remember more than 10 years ago, the last time was 2008. 10 years ago. Divaldo Franco was coming for an event in Baltimore. And I remember that he mentioned about his works. And he said, and I asked, oh, does the Brazilian TV, like the Global, the main channel, knew about these events that you were doing in Brazil? I said, no. 10 years ago. Nowadays, it's a different scenario. Things change. 10 years from now, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Something good is gonna happen. Something wonderful, because we're progressing. Thank you, soul. So he says, let us understand. He's inviting you and I. Let us understand that forgetting the evils is defense for us. Some people are like, how do I defend myself? Forget the evils. If you believe in evil, you're giving power to it. Evil doesn't exist. It's the absence of the good. It's like darkness. It's the absence of light. So it doesn't exist. If you believe in the non-existent, we become weaker because we focus our attention on it and we give power to this nothingness. It's nothing. But Vanessa, it hurts. It hurts because there is no good. That's why evil hurts. That's why selfishness hurts. That's why egotism hurts. Because there is no good in it. It's absent. And of course it hurts. But I believe in the good. I seek the good. I feel the good. And I focus on this good by visualizing it, molding it with all the resources I have at hand. I don't waste time in darkness saying, oh my gosh, darkness, oh darkness, oh darkness. Please light up a light. Light up a light that's seeking the good. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Right? Letícia de Moraes is asking, narcissists are people with evil spirits? Oh, thank you, Letícia de Moraes, for asking this. Where are you coming from, Letícia? Just so we know. Letícia, narcissists, they are, if I could put in an analogy, their souls are impaired. Okay? They use a crutch, which is their ego, to be replenished. They need to polish, to be beautiful, to be good, to be the center of attention, to be controlling, manipulative, etc. And of course, we vibrate it. And according to André Luiz, the law of the mental field in the book Mecanismos da Mediunidade, not yet in English, Mechanisms of Mediumship, we attract what we have emitted. So if I am emitting this egocentrism, I'm going to attract spirits of the nature. Because I am believing in the void. I'm believing that I am the center. It's a fallacy because God is the center. God is the center. No wonder Jesus said, love God above all things and your neighbor as yourself. How can I put myself in the middle of this universe? Right, Letícia, thank you for sharing. You're from Florida. It's sad. But I'm going to give you if you were here yesterday, we gave people a good tip to know more about this. Dodging Energy Vampire, a book that was written by Dr. Christine Northrup. Dodging Energy Vampire. She teaches us how to deal with people who are this. Usually, you don't stay too close, because those who truly have a narcissistic disorder, you're never going to have a chance with them. Never. None of us. They are who they are. How are they going to change? Time. Time is the only thing. Reincarnations. Until they correct their spiritual vision and see that the world is not at their whim, that the world is not at their mercy. But it takes time. According to psychiatry, the narcissistic disorder is not possible to be healed. At least in the traditional approach. If you ask us how to heal it, the therapy of the gospel. The therapy of the gospel has been taking us out of this narcissistic state. But we need to identify, not to fall trap at the mercy of the narcissists. And he says, forget the evil. It's our defense. And when injury strikes, forgive. Because it's always going to be the best for us. We need to forgive. I remember a scholar in Brazil, a spiritist scholar named Haroldo Dutra Dias. He gave us a beautiful analogy about the lack of forgiveness. He says, you take a picture of the person on that day, that they injured you, that they hurt you, and you keep that picture forever. Years went by and you're still believing that they are what the picture is showing to us. I'll give an example. Judas. To date, people think that Judas is stuck being Judas. Humberto de Campos through Chico Xavier showed to us in a psychographed message, and you can listen to the whole program at Kardec Radio. Just go to the podcast list and do a search. It's about Judas, or Google it. You'll find the link and you listen to it. It's the whole message. And the message says Judas is already working side by side with Jesus. According to several scholars, including Leon Denis, we know that Judas reincarnated many times, including as Joan of Arc. And as Joan of Arc, he redeemed himself. And you know, Joan of Arc is the one that consolidated the nation of France, preparing for centuries to come, when Kardec was supposed to incarnate, reincarnate, and bring Spiritism in the 19th century. It's a teamwork effort. And Judas, if you have that picture, tear it down, because it doesn't serve a purpose. How often we remember people, we recall their actions, and we think they're still like this. And one day we'll be surprised, going to the spiritual realm and be received by them, and they're like, who are you? I'm that person. No. You who hurt me? Yes. Read the book Sex and Destiny by André Luiz, Brother Felix. He was the boy who created a mess. 150 years later, he is the very spirit mentor of those families who is rescuing all of them. A lesson for us. Everybody evolves. Everybody progresses. You and I do too. If you took a picture of yourself at a moment of mistake, forgive yourself. This lesson is also about ourselves. Forgiving ourselves. Because if we don't forget and don't forgive ourselves, we won't be able to do it with anybody else. So in the next 24 hours, let us propose ourselves to forget and especially to forgive. How do we do it? Bless the past. I bless my past. And I open myself to the new. I trust in God. Right? Rudy is saying from the book Christian Agenda, do not spoil your day, chapter 38. Thank you, Rudy. Tomorrow, when we come back, we're gonna talk about love. Oh, finally, Mamma Mia. Love is in the air. Everywhere I look around. It's about renewal in love. Is it heavy? No, bless the past, because the next step is love. And he quotes from Paul saying, and you, brothers and sisters, do not get tired of doing the good. Ooh, we're ready for this. And he says, the love that we add to our daily duties is always a plantation of happiness for our own selves. Are you ready for tomorrow? Me too. God willing, we will be back for more. For now, forgive, forget, bless the past, trust in God, let go of the old, let in the new. A kiss and a hug. Lots of love for all of you. And let's keep working together. Thank you, friends. And until tomorrow.